Uh-oh. Now I am streaming live. There we go. I don't know what I just did, but I lost my camera. I don't know why I lost my camera. I lost my camera. It don't want to come back. There we go. There we go. I just can't change cameras. How about that? I just changed cameras. It's not the one I wanted to use, but it's all good. I'm gonna try one more thing. Let's turn it back on. Yeah, it's not even seeing my other camera right now. It's all good. Anyway, let's talk about it. So what happened today? Today is day one of what of me documenting this process of us utilizing our consulting company to put together deals for a nonprofit that is doing workforce housing. Today's the first day for that. So I'm kind of documenting this process, and yeah, it is live. It's working. Okay, how about that? And so I wanted to just talk about what I did today. And so I got to the office this morning, probably about 9:30. Had several calls with my lender. I'll talk a little bit about this. So on these daily things that I do, I will not I will not mention my lender's name until we close on a deal. I will not talk about anything to jeopardize anybody else's business. I will not disclose, just things that shouldn't be disclosed in public. We don't have anything to hide. That's why I'm doing this. And so there's a lot of transparency that goes into us putting these deals together. Our goal is to get to 20,000 units of housing in 5 years. The only way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna get a lot of other people in this space, bird dogging deals for us, finding deals for us. People ask me all the time, how can they participate with us? How can they partner with us? And a lot of those ways will be able to, finding land. You'll listen to me talk through some of these things that I talk through every day. Um, and maybe, just maybe, that will spark some ideas that you get that'll make you want to do something differently. Maybe it'll make you want to call me and see, can we put a deal together? So I think one of the main things that I did today um, involves this deal that we're working on here in Texas. It's 400 units. It started out as 200 units. Last year, interest rates started going up. Lenders started pulling back on their leverage sizing and things like that, which caused a significant change in capital needed for that deal. We started with only a 10% need, so we had a $50 million deal. We needed $5 million in equity to get it built. We got that put together. We started down this path, started making some changes to the site. That $5 million need, when interest rates started changing, went from $5 million to $13 million. We lost leverage. We lost the ability to finance so much because rates went up. And so when all that happened, it created that big deficit. And so how do you compensate for a $13 million deficit? Well, we were building 200 or 400 units. And so that gave us an opportunity to look at the whole site and say, can we put all 400 units there now instead of just 200? That worked. That really did help because we had to do so many improvements to the other piece of dirt to make that work. We had to buy that piece of dirt to take control of it. And so by doing that, that closed the gap considerably by a lot, like a lot. And so that $13 million gap that we had for 200 units turned into a situation where instead of us doing 200 units now and then waiting 3 or 4 years to come back and build 200 units later, we'll get to build 400 units now. We still may need a couple of $1 million of equity. That will be determined once we get our final pricing from our lenders, but that's easy to get because we're not diluting any of our current investors' investment down. Actually, it's making everything better. Um, we are also partnering with a local housing authority. Why are we doing that? Well, we're doing workforce housing. And in workforce housing, what we're focusing on are a resident base of people that make 80% of the area median income or less. 79.99999% of the area median income or less. And so this area median income in this particular market is about 80,000. So our ideal tenant for these units will make $63,999 or less, 80% of that. And that particular tenant can pay typically 30% of their income in rent. That is how the housing is based that, you know, we, everybody shouldn't pay more than 30% of our income in housing expenses. And so that model, where a resident makes 64,000 or makes $80,000 a year, we're providing, or the area median income is 80,000 a year. We're providing housing for somebody that makes 79.999% of that or less. So they're going to make 63.9, or call it $64,000. 64,000 times 0.33 is 30% of their income. They can pay $21,000 a year in rent divided by 12. They can pay roughly $1,760 a month in rent. So that's our ideal client. Our average rents on this site are about $1,500 a month. And so by partnering with the housing authority, that gives us the ability to have a property tax exemption on this site. In Texas, that saves about $2 million a year, 1.8 to $2 million a year on this site. Um, that way we can lower the rents a little bit for that resident that makes 80% of the area median income, and we're not charging market rents. And because we're not charging market rents, a couple $100 a month less, that property tax exemption allows us to do that. So that was one creative way, a real creative way of being able to finance this thing and close the gap when that gap grew because of financing. Um, Let me see, what else did I need to do? Working on my pro forma. So in talking with the lender through that deal this morning, we realized that all we had to do was provide units for residents that make 50% of the units for 80% AMI. That's our set aside. So again, 50% of the units are going to be market rent. 50% of the units are set aside for people that make 80% of the area median income or less. That also creates a great environment and not one of such for a project. You know, when you think about workforce housing, you think about affordable housing, most people think about residents that have Section 8 vouchers that don't go to work and don't make any money and blah, blah, blah. Well, in this particular market, that resident that makes 80% of the area median income or less, say they make 50%, say they make $40,000 a year, but they need a 3 bedroom unit. That unit's $2,500 a month, but because they make $40,000 a year and they can only pay a third of their income in rent, that means they can pay $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month. That rent's $2,500 a month on that unit. Um, they can't do that, but they make $40,000 a year. This particular resident could actually go to a housing authority, get a Section 8 voucher. They make $40,000 a year, and they need a 3 bedroom unit that costs $24,000 a year. That voucher would cover the difference in rent that they couldn't pay. So they would pay their $1,000, which is their 30% of their income, and then the housing voucher would literally pay the difference in rent for this resident. So when we have people rolling their nose up and mad or thinking that we're providing housing for those people that need Section 8 vouchers, sometimes those people make more money than the person rolling their nose up. You could have somebody make $50,000 a year with a housing voucher to make up $300 a month of their rent that they just can't cover. So this workforce housing deal is really a crisis, and this is how we are approaching this. We're developing units um, for those particular residents. Let's see. I spoke to my attorneys also about um, partnering with the PFC, the Housing Authority. Um, I need to put together a distribution list of everybody that's involved to send that to the team. With that distribution list, they asked me for my pro forma, which we worked on that today, got that fully done. We got all the costs in. We've got all of the expenses in, all of the cash in. They also asked me for sizing, a projection of revenues that the entity would receive, and also a picture of that. So what does that mean? They like to just see a graph of what that particular deal looks like. So that's what that is. What else did I do today? See, we're working on a deal in West Wego, Louisiana. That particular deal in West Wego, Louisiana is 452 units. I was working with my insurance agent because we've got renewals coming up on our existing portfolio, I think May 15th, which is next week. Really don't like the way this insurance market is working. Every time we turn the TV on, we hear about a fire flood, hailstorms, hurricanes, all that kind of stuff tearing up some piece of the country. All of that's affecting our insurance costs every day, whether we know it or not, whether it hit our property or not, it's affecting our insurance costs just because of the market. So we were working through some renewal situations on our existing properties, also on our property in New Orleans that we are, and that's a situation where this property is 50% occupied, 50% under construction. So you've got some of it that has to be insured as a builder's risk. You've got some of it that needs to be insured as a stabilized asset. So we're working through marrying those situations together to get that done, along with renewing the other properties that are fully operational. Um, let's see what else. I've got a deal. I need to answer an email from executive director for a city up in Minnesota. We took on a deal to do 114 units up there. Um, we may wind up having to push that deal back a few months, and pushing that deal back a few months from June into, a few months in the wintertime would mean the ground will be frozen again. So I need to call them and see how that works out. Um, but I don't want to take on another project right now. We've got this one project that's going on in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, that's going to be 185 units. We should get that started in about a month from now. We are getting the final numbers from our contractor, I think next week, Monday, Tuesday, 15th, 16th. Um, I've connected them with the attorneys. We've got the bond situation going on, so all of that's working. We'll be working on a final contract with them after next week. Um, we've got the 452 units going on in Louisiana. That's a rehab deal, but when 200 of those units are being gutted down to the studs, that's a rebuild of a brand new apartment complex, and so that's going on. And then we've got this 400 unit deal in Princeton, Texas going on. So we will essentially have 600, 800 units being worked on all by the end of this summer, and that's quite a big undertaking. The deal in Princeton is about 104 million, just the capital stack, 140 million dollar stabilized value. In 10 years, that thing's worth 180 million. That's using a 6.5 cap rate with a 7% interest rate. So our deal in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, I think the total capital stack there is 55 million. So that thing, and then right about 45 million in New Orleans. So by the end of the summer, we'll have 200 plus $1 million worth of projects coming up out of the ground, not to mention the stuff that we've already got and that's already being rehabbed. So that's going to be a pretty busy second half of the year. And and then that'll allow us to get ready for next year. Um, what else is going on? What else do I have to do? I talked about the meeting that we had with the attorneys um, for the housing authority situation. Um, I talked about the units being 80%. So we're building for 80% of the area median income. Area median income is 80,000. And that's pretty much it. What else have I done today? So I took care of those two deals. Worked on the insurance. Um, talked to another one of my lenders. Got another loan that's coming up for renewal the 27th of this month. It's on a piece of dirt here in Anna, Texas. That deal is set up for 204 units. Market rate deal. Um, Maybe selling that dirt unless I can raise some capital, get some people that wanna go in and help me build it. But it's man, it's on the major thoroughfare going down the middle of Anna, Texas. The address is 1300 Powell Street. If anybody's interested, look it up. Give me a shout. Let's do something together on that. Um, that thing will be shovel ready for construction. We could literally start the construction on that. I'll have 90-day extension on my loan by the end of this month. So May, June, July, August. By the end of August, my engineer will be done with all the engineering and all the building plans. We can start going vertical or horizontal and vertical on that thing this year. That'd be another 200 units. What else is going on? We've got another deal in Mansfield, Texas. That thing will be completely zoned and platted for 91 townhome lots the first week of June as well. Thinking about either selling that or raising some capital for that one as well. We got really low bases on these two deals. That deal in Mansfield, it's going to be worth, those pads are going to be worth 50,000 a piece times 91 of them. That's roughly 4.5 million. Uh, our basis on that is like $1 million. So we've got a lot of room there. If somebody wants to partner with me on that, y'all can hit me up. I'd love to partner with somebody on that. And the same thing in Anna, Texas. That dirt is worth 6 million. We owe less than 5. Um, those units in Anna, because the area median income is over $100,000, the per door value of those units is probably about $40,000 a key, 30 to 40 a key. So even at 30 a key, that gives it the $6 million value that my appraisal says. But at 40 a key, that's about 8 million. And because these things, it's 4-story. We're looking at a 4-story complex. All elevators served, interior corridors, super nice, high efficiency, A-class deal. The rents over there would be north of 1,700 average rents. So you could actually do a really nice Class A deal on this site, 400 units. I mean, 200 units. Um, so we got a really low basis on that. If somebody's interested in partnering with me on that, hit me up as well. And if you got any questions about what we're doing with all these units or how you can be a part in what we're doing, shoot me an email. My email address is alvin at 372hope.org. That's Alvin, ALVIN, at 372hope.org. I'm going to be doing these daily, 15 to 20 minutes, just giving an update. And so tomorrow, when I get on about this time tomorrow, I will be talking about everything that happened from today through tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing y'all on these live sessions. Tap in with me. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you're hearing me. Let me know that this is valuable to you. So y'all look forward to talking with you guys soon. This is going to be an amazing journey, the second half of this year, um, where we will have close to, is it 400, 600, almost 185. So that's 785 being 400 and 200 coming out of the ground. Another 452 being totally renovated with 200 of them down to the studs. So we got almost 200 million worth of work that'll be starting between now and the 1st of September. So tap in with me. I love to partner with you. I love to raise some capital with you. I would love to do good while doing good with you. That is the mission of Hope Housing Foundation, to provide safe, decent, sanitary housing to the economically challenged. That's everybody. And the workforce communities of America. And that's everybody else. Um, with great quality housing, man. And with us doing that and doing that through this new model of being consultants and working with other consultants to bring these deals to fruition, is my desire. I'd love to work with you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Dream on, dreamer. Let's go do something great together.